Okay, well, as Brenda said, I'm David Russ, running for Congressional District 6 here in Oregon. I am a patriot servant leader. This means that I love this country as founded, and I will lay my life down for it. It means when I take a position as an elected official, I do that to serve you, serve this nation, not to take care of myself. And I'm a leader. I've been a leader my entire adult life. I started my own company at age 17. Just a couple of years out of college, I started running corporations. I've run property management, 2 different types of manufacturing, retail. I'm a management in farming right now. And I've also managed volunteers for over 25 years. I currently have a volunteer organization that I'm on the board of. So when I come to these things, by the way, I forgot up front, thank you so much. You people are what's important here. You coming to these meetings and hearing people talk and making your decision as informed voters is more important than me standing here. Because informed voters are what makes the difference. As long as you are digging into the people and the issues, and you know and you're voting, that's more important to me than whether or not you vote for me. Because that's what makes this country great. So when I come here, generally the old-fashioned thing is that I'm expected to talk about the issues. To go on just like every other candidate will about the immigration and the border and the economy and all these things. We all know those are the problems, and we've seen and heard it 1,000 times. When I get to Washington, D.C., if I had told you, oh, I'm going to vote for some give you money over here thing, there's 2 problems with that. One is I'm talking about taking money from you, taking it to Washington, D.C., and bringing a nickel back for you to build whatever you want. That's not good enough. And secondly, that may or may not come up in Washington, D.C., which this is the important part. I need to relate to you what my standards and my ethics and how I will deal with things in Washington, D.C., so you can feel trust in me as your representative. And to that I say, my highest priorities are God, the Constitution, and you. I'm not a religious zealot. I won't try to legislate God into our laws, but just like our founding fathers, God is an integral part of the way this country runs, and only a moral people can keep this constitutional republic. The Constitution is the law that I will abide to as I try to make legislation and vote on legislation in Washington, D.C. I will not seek to create things that violate the 10th Amendment, which is the entire administrative agency set right now. I will seek to stay within the Constitution and also try to reel Washington, D.C. back into the Constitution. And there's you. I will fight to the death for you. And here's how I'll do it. Dear Lord, thank you for putting your words in my mouth as I do your will for this country and your people. This is the way fight's done. So, getting back to things, as an experienced leader, I also have experience with the city of Dundee. Been leading the city of Dundee for over 9 years now. I've won 5 consecutive elections by a near unanimous vote. My proof of my abilities and my moral character are shown by the people who endorse me. These are local conservative leaders that know me, not big PACs from Washington, D.C. or Salem. This is the mayor of Newburgh, my neighboring city, city councilors in Newburgh, my city councilors, my chief of police, my retired chief of police, my pastor, all 3 of my county commissioners. And Yamhill County is probably one of the only counties in the state that has 3 conservative county commissioners. I'm also endorsed by the Community-Oriented Public Servants PAC because I am a community-oriented public servant. As the mayor of Dundee, I've led it through more economic improvement and infrastructure growth than any previous mayor of the city. It's interesting, last night someone said, well, so it means you like to spare money. Well, it's not true. I spend the money that's there. And in order to make those infrastructure improvements, I had to improve the economy of the city. So I did that. I'm not overspending. I'm spending what's necessary because a city is a business. Any government is a business. And if you're not growing at some minor rate, and the number I've heard so many times is 10%, you're actually moving backwards because the economy is growing around you. Dundee was actually shrinking because it hadn't grown for too many years. I've turned that around and made things much better. So I've brought signs over here, and I have various ways you can donate. I've got my envelopes and a QR code and donate on my website. My website is very extensive. You know, I talk a lot about these people, you know, uniparty, establishment people, whatever, and you can tell them by their website often. Their website has 4 or 5 bullet points designed to make you mad, and that's about the end of the story. They don't tell you anything about themselves. They don't tell you about what they think about those bullet points. They just want to get you mad, so you vote. My website is far more extensive than anything I could stand here and tell you about in 15 minutes or even an hour. I've got information there about how I plan to deal with things in Washington, D.C., and about what I believe and how I view things. You know, recently, President Trump came up and actually agreed with my stance on abortion, which is, it's none of the federal government's business. It's a violation of the 10th Amendment for the government to be involved in. However, as a resident of the state of Oregon, I will stand with you to fight against abortion. Amen. And this is what I will do about everything that we need to do. We need to get it out of their hands and bring it here so we can control it better. There's too many things the federal government's doing, including messing with our kids. You know, the Department of Education needs to go. Now, while our local Oregon Department of Education isn't really much better, they're much closer to us to get our hands around their neck. Nothing real personal there, but you know, just metaphoric. And this is what we need to do because we can control it locally. We can't control it 3,000 miles away in Washington, D.C. So I have over there also some business cards, some group bundles of business cards if you'd like to hand them out. I generally don't do the flyer thing because, again, it's just a bunch of bullet points that don't make a lot of sense. I need you to come and see my website, come talk, look at what I have, talk to me. I'll invite you to send messages directly to me on my website, and I will respond. I don't think you'll get that from my direct competition. It's interesting, though, because when you run for office, you're a politician by definition. I accept that. I don't like it because there's such a negative connotation to the word politician. I am a patriot servant leader. But last night, my biggest competition claimed that they were not a politician, which I thought was pretty strange coming from somebody who's been running for office since 1988 and hasn't won a seat. I've only been running since 2014 and haven't lost once. So, like I said, I've got the backing of my community. I've got the backing of conservative leaders around me, and so I look to have your backing as well to serve you and serve this nation. You know, my website is Russ is for Us. My slogan is Russ is for Us. And I didn't just choose that because it's fancy and rhymes. I chose it because, as it has on my card, the U.S. is capitalized. And on my card, there's also a little A in the background behind that U.S. Because being in Congress and serving you is not just about you or me. It's not about Kaiser, Salem, or District 6, or even Oregon. It's about this entire nation we have to recover. Sure, we have to take care of our own areas as well. But if I go to Washington, D.C. and only focus on District 6, I could be hurting all of us, the entire nation. So we need to do this together. russisforus.com/together is a page that I have that talks about how we do this together. I cannot do this without you. I need you. I need you now, and I need you when I'm in Washington, D.C. in order to get things done and in order to know what you want done. In order to get your voice and amplify it in Washington, D.C. so other people hear it and know what we need to do for our nation. So, really don't have a lot of things, you know, I'm not a typical politician to stand here and just ramble about the border and everything else. It sucks. And we got to end it. You know, my thing, as long as I'm on that, talk about immigration, we've gone way too far. Over the past 60 years, 70 years, we've brought in, 70 million people. It's not just the 10 or 20 that we have in the last 3 years. This has gone on and on and on and on. Right now, we need to close down the border and all immigration completely for a short time at least, until we can figure out what we've got. And that may take 5 or 10 years, I don't know. And there may be some special things, somebody who really seeks asylum, right? That's for real asylum, or some other special cases, but I think it should be very limited for a time while we get this straightened out. The next thing that needs to happen is we need to make it uncomfortable for those people to stay here. We need to stop giving them benefits. stop giving them free medical on your dime. And we need to also have law enforcement reporting to ICE every time they come across somebody. And it doesn't matter whether that person is guilty of a crime or not, when they become aware, they report it. When that starts happening, people will slow down the coming. Another good idea I heard is that we specifically go after and seek to deport the most recent arrivals.
Yeah.
Because that will send a real solid message to those who are on the other side of the border on the way. They're like, almost like Russ, they're going to be looking for me. So we hopefully can stop that as well. I'm much more willing to take questions because you're important than to stand here and babble. So anybody got a question? Yes.
You make me wish that I lived in Congressional District 6.
That's my question, but thank you very much for saying you wish you lived in Congressional District 6.
What is Congressional District 6?
Congressional District 6, it comprises all of Yamhill, all of Polk counties, all of urban Salem to just the other side of Lancaster a little bit. At Highway 22, we take a bulb out to Jefferson. Includes all of Almsville and a curve around Jefferson, comes back down to the Polk County line. It runs up the I-5 corridor, includes Woodburn, and then it goes up to Wilsonville, Tigard, Tualatin, Sherwood, includes a little bit of southeast Beaverton. So technically, I have 5 counties in this district. Yeah, I'll be speaking at the Washington County Republican meeting tonight in Marion County tomorrow. If you know anybody that's missed me here, please tell them to come to one of those. Yes?
One of the things I know about your competitor is that he's going to focus very heavily on the Washington, Clackamas County districts, highly populated. I hope you go after that as well.
Well, definitely, and I've talked with the Washington County Chair, who tells me he hasn't even heard from him yet. But that's kind of the way that goes. I will definitely be working on those things. I'll try not to stuff your mailbox with 12 mailers in 3 days. Hopefully you'll appreciate that. Nicole?
Last time, Mike ran, and was it Mike ran? He got the primary. Yeah. And I looked at every county by county, and he won every county except for Washington, and that overwhelmed all his positives that he had. So it truly is, it's so that it's really, they vote in a really good, sheriff and AG, and they do these amazing DA, and so I don't understand why Washington County is really that liberal. You guys just haven't got your messages out.
Well, Washington County is pretty liberal, but the Republicans that are in Washington County are also very strong Republicans because they're so surrounded by that stuff. Yeah.
So you got a plan for that?
Well, just reaching out as much as I can and talking to people and asking people like you to share my name, because your voice is much more important than all the dollars I can gather. You have a question back there? No? Oh, okay. Well, so yeah, one other thing I try not to say any disparaging words too much, but I believe you deserve a representative that lives in your district. And my biggest competition does not live in your district, just to make that clear. You can go look at the SOS, the Secretary of State website, look at their address, look up that address and see where it is.
It is not required.
No, you're not.
Yes, it is, because it's posted on the site. You can find out where I live too. Come on by and visit, we'll have, barbecue, it's good.
You don't have to live in the state.
So anyone else have a question? Well, thank you again for your time. I really enjoyed being here and meeting with you.